we're well funded right now. The market is really tough, as everybody out there knows, and so we're kind of hunkering down and doing all of that really, the groundwork to make this be successful. But I'm just blown away by how the potential this area is.
Welcome viewers, Assay TV are pleased to be catching up with Golden Arrow Resources, the exploration and development company with multiple discoveries across South America. And I'm pleased to be speaking with Brian McEwen, VP of Exploration and Development, the perfect person to be getting an update on the projects over in Chile. Hello again, Brian, and welcome back to Assay TV.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks. Yeah, no, it's good to be speaking with you again. And look, it's an interesting time to be getting some updates with the company. Back in June, you began a field program at the San Pietro Copper-Gold Cobalt project in Chile. How's that gone for you over the summer, or should I say maybe autumn months down in the Southern Hemisphere?
The project has gone very well. I was in there with our entire team just a few weeks ago, and because of COVID and the restrictions and everything before, I hadn't been to site. We had our team in from Argentina and some Chilean contractors and stuff on site, but I had never actually been to site as part of the due diligence. So I went down there with a couple of other people from Vancouver, and just totally impressed, totally blown away. Totally blown away by the size of the project. When you get on a property, 185 square kilometers, it's huge. And then you look at all of the different target areas. We've got a power line right over top of the property. Well, the infrastructure there is a great 8 kilometers from the town. It's a great place to be working. So yeah, it was a very positive trip. And one of the things that came out of that trip was when we look at the size, and each one of these target areas that we've highlighted could actually be a project in itself, which is was interesting for us to step back and take a look at.
Okay, great. Well, could you perhaps give us a little bit more history to the Grosso Group, of course, who are owning the company as well?
Yeah, my pleasure to do that. The Grosso Group has been working in Argentina, most specifically for the last 27 years under the direction of our chairman and President and CEO, Joe Grosso. We've been very successful over that period of time. We've, as Golden Arrow or Grosso Group metal companies, we've had 3 discoveries. Our sister company, Blue Sky, has also got a discovery of note, and so we've had great success. We've got a successful team that's proven itself in the past. We've got reconciled experiences with these discoveries, and we've got a very strong technical team. We've got a very strong management team under Joe, and a legal team, and very good business people involved. And so I think that when anybody's looking at investing in a junior company, to look at the management and to say, hey, those guys have they've been here for the long haul. They've proven themselves before, and I can trust them going forward. I think it's an important step, and I think it's important to, as I say, looking at a junior company to say, hey, who are these guys and what have they done before?
Yeah, certainly. Is that part of the strategy then? Is it going to be focusing on individual zones and then maybe spin them out, or is it sort of a broad, quick rollout of the drilling to find out what you're working with here?
Well, initially, when we got the project, the Sumitomo, the company that we had acquired the property from, had started to drill off one of the areas to calculate a resource, and they hadn't quite got there yet. They'd tried to, and so immediately, when we acquired the project, the idea was that we would go in and continue to get a resource. But having been on the property and seeing the multitude of targets, questioning some of the ideas that the previous pre-owner had, we want to step back and take a closer look at everything and make sure we get it right. We're well funded right now. The market is really tough, as everybody out there knows, and so we're kind of hunkering down and doing all of that really, the groundwork to make this be successful. But I'm just blown away by how the potential this area is.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about some of the geology because, like, as far as I've read, you've retained some local geologists, experts who know the site, who know the quality of the resources available here. And of course, it's a copper, gold, cobalt asset. But are you mainly looking for copper here? What have you found so far from the sort of initial sampling and mapping that you've done?
Well, the fact of the matter is that, I mean, we're in probably the best IOCG iron oxide copper gold district in the world.
Yeah.
Outside of maybe Olympic Dam and some others out there, world class in their own right. But we're right in the middle of that. I mean, just west of us is the operating and Manto Verde mine. We've got just east of us on the east boundary, Santo Domingo. Both of those projects are owned by Capstone. That's got a plan to go into production. We've got the Cerro Negro mine south of us. We've got Sierra Norte north of us. I mean, we're completely surrounded by mines, operating mines, and projects on the books with great value. We're right in the middle of that. So we went in there. We originally attracted to the project by it being referred to as a copper gold target. When we started looking at the valuations, we saw that not only we had copper and a little bit of gold, which of course adds value, but the cobalt was significant, and and even the iron, and it was the cobalt that made Santo Domingo all of a sudden a profitable project. So we're very excited, and we'll go in there, and I mean, at the end of the day, it's what you're mining is value. It doesn't matter which metal it is. It's we'll do our best.
Absolutely. Yeah. So what is the plan then to sort of take it forward from here in terms of like drilling? What have you got any sort of details on the program and what we can expect in terms of some of the milestones coming up?
Sure. We had a very, very pleasant surprise here just about a couple of weeks ago, where we actually we received our drilling permits, which we hadn't expected for several months yet.
Excellent.
So we've got the permits ready. We got the permits, so we're ready to drill, and we've got the financings to do the drilling. But as I say, I want to make sure we do this in a very methodical way, that we understand the targets we're drilling, and we prioritize these to get it right. But we won't be drilling this year, but we will be. We do plan to be drilling in Q1 of next year.
Yeah. Okay. And what do you need to sort of line up in order to get to in the interim period up to Q1? It's great that you've got the permits. It seems like the Chilean sort of environment is opening up and becoming a little bit easier, as you said, from the COVID, but then also from the geopolitical aspect as well. Things have smoothed out.
Those were all big questions we went into this, and you bring up a very good point, Adam. To have that permitting process out of the way, and the issues that Chileans were looking at in the constitution and changing to the Mining Act, that all went very positive in our opinion, and so all of that noise is gone for us, and we can just concentrate on getting this going, and where we are, and because of our neighbors, I can say that we are getting a lot of attention from possible investors. So it's we're in a really good place and timing right now. We will be putting out as regular news as much as we can with our surface programs. Generally aren't all that exciting, but we're about to embark on a geophysical program as well.
Okay.
And so we've got a very, very clear path, and it's going to be this gradual improvement, information flow better and better and better. And I think that's a better approach than just going for the wildcat holes and taking a chance and drilling and killing it, rather than putting it out in some proper design.
Yeah, absolutely. Indeed. The tiered approach, of course, but within that geophysical program, what does that look like? What are you expecting to hone in on from there?
A couple of things. Sumitomo did a lot of work, but they did that work back in around 2010, 2011, and nothing back since then. So commodities have changed, technology has changed. They did some geophysics, and there was some possible deeper targets that would have been totally uneconomical back in those days. But now it could be very big, and so we want to do some deep geophysics. We're looking at some of the areas where structurally things could be, a little more complex, and work out in our positive favor. There's so much of the project that is covered with alluvium, and so it's very blind that we want to do some geophysics. A lot of the property has not been looked at in any organized fashion. I mean, there's the one area of Rincones where they did a lot of the drilling, and some other areas, but there's still a lot of work to do on the sheer size of the project.
Yeah, indeed. It's interesting. So sort of catalysts towards the end of this year that investors can look out from you, some regular news flow coming out. Yeah,
as far as San Pietro goes, we're, like I say, we're going to be doing a lot of that behind the scenes work that's so important on getting it right, and the surface mapping and the sampling, the geophysics, that's all building up. I mean, we do have other projects that we're still looking at. We're still working on in Argentina. Those are all quite attractive. We're trying to focus on this. We've also got with our 180,000 hectares of projects in our portfolio, we've done a lot of joint ventures. We've got a joint venture right now in the project next door to Filo del Sol, where all the excitement's coming with Filo mining, and that's supposed to be drilled in the next year. And our Esperanza project, next to Huachi project next to Esperanza, is the same thing. So there's a lot of things going on behind the scene that could just make a big difference. So we're very, very comfortable where we are and excited going forward. It's a good place for us to be, as I say.
Yeah, certainly. And just a point on the JVs, is it your, in your experience, you've done a lot around, of exploration and development. Is the joint venture sort of strategy becoming more important, I'd say, for the development of a junior project to sort of get to its targets, and, leveraging joint expertise in that respect?
Well, it's so important. We've got a lot of property that's at very high in the Andes. It is so expensive to work. You can only work there normally like 6-7 months of the year. Then there's no news flow coming out. And so if you can attract a partner that's, got deep pockets or is willing to put up with it, then, we can get all of the, we get a lot of the upside or some of the upside, our share of the upside on those projects if they have success. So we have these properties now that that's what's happening. And if they drill and find something, then, we're going to be right there with them. So the JV of these properties is something we do behind the scenes, but it's equally as important as what we're doing on the ground.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. Okay, well, look, that's really been interesting, Brian, to get an update on where you're at. It seems like you've got quite a big area to cover by the end of the year, but look forward to hearing how that news flow progresses and we get closer to the actual drilling into Q1 next year.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Adam.
Yeah, thank you. Cheers.